Hey, it's time to fix your credit. And yes, the time is now because the economy is changing. And the people who are making decisions aren't making them with your wallet or mine's in mind. We have prices that are continuously climbing. We've got layoffs happening left and right, and key financial programs are getting cut like on the daily. So, yes, things are happening fast, which is why it's so important to position and align ourselves so that we are ready for them, prepared for them. And if you've already been impacted, then what is your goal? To get back in control, to take control, right? So let's start off with our credit, getting our credit on point. So I want to break down some of my strategies and my best proven strategies that I've used over the years and helping my clients to get to 700 and above in the shortest amount of time as possible. And I started this process or this method when I was a realtor. I had a lot of clients who needed to hurry up and get their credit fixed so they can get approved for a loan. And so they had like some of the worst advice that they were getting from others, from their loan officers, etc. And so I had to learn pretty quickly. And some of the advice you can probably relate to. So they would say, just get another credit card, which can help, but it can also drop their scores because of the hard inquiry, right? Then we had, well, just dispute everything negative. That can also drop your scores for a number of reasons. Then we had, well, just pay off all of the negative information. That can also backfire, drop your scores, resurrect some things that you're not trying to deal with, including lawsuits. And don't even get me started on just wait it out. Like, who got time for that? That is not a strategy. That is frustrating. We got some goals to crush, right? So people were out here, particularly my clients, they were stressed, they were guessing, they were stuck. And that's the last place that we desire to be, in the same place year after year after year. So I don't do guesswork. I do what works. This is a strategy, okay? I don't want you out here trying to guess and see and decide what works. I want you to know the real. So let's get started. So hopefully you know that the average FICO score ranges from 300 to 850, right? And the reason why I say average is because there's like over 20 different versions out there. And so in between that 300 and 850, those 550 points, that is all on you. So you can start off being approved or qualifying for a credit score of 300. So you qualify the lowest 300, and then you can max out, or the highest you can get on the average model is 850. All of those 550 points is based on how well you manage your credit. So it's based on you, your habits, your activities. So I'm actually going to bring up the 5 core categories and briefly review them so that we can go into the actual strategies and the actual methodology that I actually use. All right, let me bring it up. All right, so these are the 5 categories that FICO uses when determining your FICO score. So each percentage that you see right here on your screen indicates how important it is, the weight of it, when determining your score. Okay, so you have your payment history, which is 35%, amount owed, which is your utilization. I don't know if you heard of that term before, that's 30%. Length of history is 15%, and then new credit and types of credit are 10% each. Let's quantify this with the amount of points that you can get out of that available 550 points. So 35% is about 192 and a half points. 30% is about 165 points. 15% is 82 and a half points, and then 10% is 55 points. Now, if you are looking at this and you're like, I want to dominate this pie, I want to conquer it, what are you going to focus on? Obviously, you want the whole pie, right? But if you want to do it quickly and do a quick grab, what are you going to focus on? You're not going to be sitting around trying to get 10% and 10%. You want the biggest chunks. So when we are sewing credit scores fast, we are looking at the primary biggest chunks out of the FICO pie, and that's your payment history and the amounts owed category. Now, let me go over payment history. We're going to focus only on that for this part of the training, right? So payment history looks at the history of how you pay things from beginning to end, whether it's open, whether it's closed, whether it's negative, whether it's positive. It's going to look at it all. It's also going to look at your late payments. Do you have any? If so, how many times were you ever late? How many times did you pay late, right? So it's not just I was late one time, but were you late consistently? The weight of that is also scored. How much money you still owe on your negative accounts. And this is super important because when there's an argument about if you should pay a negative account or not, such as collections, FICO actually looks at how much money you still owe, but you have to do this strategically, which is why some people can pay off like a collection or a charge off and their scores increase. Others will do it and their scores may drop or see absolutely nothing and they feel like they've wasted money. So there has to be a strategy on this. And I actually teach this in 2 classes, my credit report mastery class and my ultimate credit repair master class. I have that inside of my $9 money and credit club. It looks at how many late payments show up on your credit report overall. If you've ever filed for bankruptcy, how long ago your late collections, bankruptcy, and all that good stuff was, and then how many accounts are you paying on time right now. Payment history is where credit repair lies. And so when FICO goes in and assess all this information for that 35% category, remember I said it's looking at positive, negative, old, new, closed, open, all of that good stuff. So credit repair goes in, look at the negative information, finds any little error that they can find, disputes it in hopes of getting it completely removed from your credit report or updated to positive reporting information. What does this do? When FICO goes in and that payment history, that 35%, it's going to say, okay, that negative isn't there. I'm only looking at positive information. That's what causes your scores to increase when you get your dispute on. The thing is, credit repair isn't fast. If you do it online, run a little small risk, but you can get some faster results. We've done some stuff over the phone before. We have done some things fax when they have fax numbers, but ultimately the best and safest results is to get your mail on. Second, I would say, is online, and it's going to take you, like I said, some time. You're looking at a response time with mailing the information out of about 45 days or so. Some places even 50 days it takes for them to get a response back. So mailing it there, having them, do their investigation, getting the results back. That's not so fast, but in 6 months, that's some good time just because of the results that you ultimately want, which is get some of that negative information off. There's also some risk here. I teach this inside of my Ultimate Credit Masterclass. The risk is that you want to make sure you're not touching accounts that can get you sued. You want to make sure that you are looking at your high priority accounts, because sometimes when it updates, when you dispute something, that can drop your scores. So you see how this said, like, if then, thing. If you're doing this by yourself, focus on accounts that are 2 years or younger, that are actively reporting and that are negative, and you can find some errors. I actually have, I'm gonna put a freebie down here. Actually I have to find the freebie, but I'm gonna put it down there. But there's like a list of things that you can review that are like common errors that you can find, and see if you can find some errors on your account. Otherwise, like I said, I have a $9 money and credit club. It has that checklist. It also has a class that walks you step by step and teaches you how to break down your reports, identify those high priority accounts, figure out which ones you may not want to touch. And then if you have any questions on that, you can just post them inside of the community. And then from there, you can start getting your dispute strategy on with 2 classes that I have in there, my Ultimate Credit Repair Masterclass and my Dispute Boss class. So all of that, you can get started for just $9. Now, when you are going to make your payment strategy, like I said, you want to make sure that you're getting those heavy hitters so you can get the quickest results possible. The quickest results possible. We're looking to fix our credit in a shortened time frame, and therefore we have to look at things that's going to get those quick hitters. So you're not looking at stuff that's 6 years old. You're not looking at stuff that's 5 years old. You're looking at the most recent, because what is FICO looking at? They are looking at the history, yes, but then look at that, how long ago? That's super duper important. So not just if you have a negative, if you have a positive, but how long ago. And the best thing that you can do when it comes to your payment history is making sure that you adopt some payment habits. Because if we do have to start paying off some stuff, you want to make sure that your money is not going to waste by doing the same things that got you into bad credit in the first place. Speaking from experience, okay? So you want to make sure that you have a good financial money management system set in place, that you've adopted some good habits, got some automation set up so you're not mentally trying to remember stuff. That's never worked for me. But setting up like systems and automations around how I manage my money and my credit, that was easier, because then all I had to do was monitor. And I teach you that in a $9 Money and Credit Club in my Boss Up Your Budget class. I actually have a freebie that can get you started on that. Now let's go over some biggest losses, because I get this all the time. What's going to tank my scores the most. So what happened to me is actually number 2. You filed bankruptcy before, and then you are late, or any other type of negative happens again. That is like the worst thing that you can have, that can happen for you, because it takes you so much longer than a regular person who just has a late payment. Or number 1, somebody with excellent credit, they have a late one time. It's going to drop their scores significantly, but it's going to rebound faster than somebody who has a history of making lates, and definitely way faster than somebody who's filed bankruptcy again and then was late. And so individuals also, there's a last one who only has a negative mark or even just negative stuff on their credit, and then they keep being late. All right. So we want to get some positive info in there. So the payment history entails quite a bit. Okay. But if you are looking to make a move fast, then we have to hit those high priority accounts, get your dispute on, make a money management plan or a debt payoff plan so we can settle key accounts, perhaps even add new positive history so that you can start the process. Let's go down to where you can see it. So you can start the process of paying some accounts. It's the last one. Paying some accounts on time right now. Recent history is great. FICO loves antiques. So you want to make a, I guess, habit. You want to make a promise to yourself. You want to be committed to making sure, okay, today, moving forward, put some steps in place, put some processes in place so that I can start paying on time all the time moving forward. All right. So this is just one area that I zone in on when I'm looking to sort credit scores in a relatively short period of time. I also, like I mentioned, focus on money management, making sure that's on point and tailored to you so it can support the building and the maintaining, because it's not just storing the credit, you want to keep it, okay? And again, I've broken all of this down step by step, how to put these strategies in place inside of my $9 Money and Credit Club. I have some freebies. I'll be working on some more that's going to kind of combine all of this to slide your way as well. So if you're not a part of my Frugal mail, definitely be a part of that, because listen, this economy is not going to wait on us to figure it out. We need better finances, better credit, more financial options now. So the time to move and make moves is now. I'll leave all of that information inside of the caption for you. If you have any questions, definitely drop them below. I'll create additional trainings based on your questions. Now, the next video, we're actually going to go into probably the fastest way that you can begin to start soaring your credit scores. And you definitely need to have your money management plan in place for this. But this is how we were getting results in literally like 15 to 20 days. So you definitely want to stay tuned to that. See you in the next one.